Welcome to the Luke Branquinho Show. We are here at the Cave Creek Rodeo in the beautiful state of Arizona. And this show is brought to you by Sanderson Ford.
Rodeo time.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the
The first night of the Cave Creek Rodeo was all bull riding. The buck and chutes were packed and so were the stands. Looking forward to 3 more nights of great rodeo activity. The Cave Creek Rodeo holds a special place in my heart. I've competed here since my rookie year back in 2000. My wife, Lindsay, also an Arizona native, has competed here as well. So we are looking forward to being back for all the action. Speaking of bull riding, I caught up with Josh Frost as he was making his way out here to Arizona. Check it out. Something I want to talk about is 2020 COVID year. Rodeo got shut down. But we had a resurgence, and the first one was the Cave Creek Rodeo. I see you're entered there this year. Cave Creek kind of said, you know what? We're tired of this. We're going to step up. We're going to break some rules, and we're going to have ourselves a rodeo. And, it's pretty cool that they were the first ones to kind of break open the rodeo world again.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to that one in 2020, but I remember sitting at home watching it. That was technically, so I got hurt really bad in 2020 at Fort Worth. I got stepped on. They ended up having to take out my spleen, stitch my pancreas up. It was kind of a bad deal. So I was laying in the hospital when I'm hearing all this COVID stuff, and I'm like, then I hear this rumor that they're going to cancel Houston, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way this. And then sure enough, everything gets shut down. I get out of the hospital. I mean, I was 2 weeks in the hospital. I got home just before stuff really got crazy. And that was Cave Creek was the only rodeo I had to miss that year. With everything shutting down, it kind of worked out in my favor. But I remember sitting at home wishing I was at Cave Creek. And like I said, they definitely, if Cave Creek doesn't have their rodeo, who knows when we would have started rodeoing that year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they really blew the doors open, because after Cave Creek, there was one in Utah that was maybe the next one that I went to anyway. What was that one called?
Eagle Mountain.
Eagle Mountain. That's it. Yep. Eagle Mountain was the next one I believe I went to after Cave Creek. And, and then obviously the Midwest states, South Dakota was huge, is opening everything back up. And I'm like you, if Cave Creek doesn't do it, who is going to step up to the plate? And man, I think everybody in the rodeo world is so pumped. I don't think they've ever had that many entries, obviously, and I don't know that they ever will, just because everybody was just itching to get to the next rodeo.
The smaller rodeos that, I didn't hardly go to anymore. You probably haven't been to for years. So those were all the ones
Right.
that pulled it together and made it happen. I mean, especially there in August. I mean, we were rodeoing in August and September, but, I was going to Circle, Montana, Miles
Right.
City, Rapid City, all these places that just didn't ever fit into the schedule. And I think those committees loved it. The fact that, they were, I don't think they could believe how many entries they got. And so It was pretty cool.
Yeah, you're 100% right. There's rodeos I never went to until 20, and I'm going to say 80% of the Cowboys that were there that year hadn't been to them, and so for those rodeos to step up to play, and again, you take those, call them the flyover states that stepped up, it was huge I think it was huge for the sport, but it was also huge for the world to see as Cowboys, we don't back down. We're going to step up and face this, and keep going. We're going to keep living. And I think that was awesome that they were able to step up, do that. And now you see those rodeos starting to add more money too. So I think obviously COVID sucked, no doubt about that, but the outcome for the rodeo business and what it did to those rodeos, was a positive, I guess, impact.
Yeah. I think so too. It was a crazy year, but I think there was a lot of good that came out of it.
And Cave Creek, I feel like, was the one that started off. So that was pretty cool. Something else, I know we mentioned it earlier in the show, but the Linderman Award, you tie down roping and steer wrestling, and the honor that it means, because there's not near as many rough stock riders that work or Cowboys that work both ends of the arena anymore. Back in 30, 40 years ago, it was pretty common that you steer wrestled, rope calves, and you also rode bulls or broncs or bears, and now it's not as common, but what an honor and a prestige to win that award.
Yeah, it's one I've set out every year to win it, and I was trying for 3 or 4 years before I won it the first time, but that's what a lot of people, I think the specializations, what you see more now, there's so many people that have specialized for their specific event. It's made it to where like all those events are very elite. So there's still a large percentage of us that as we grow up, we all participate in multiple events, but there's less and less people that have worked hard enough at multiple events to be able to compete at a professional level. And, I think up till probably the late 90s, you still had, I don't know if the competition level was that deep to where you had more guys that were maybe entering multiple events, but it's got to where now, like, you can't just enter the tie down roping or steer wrestling and go and duck off and win money. Like it's not easy money. And that's what makes it so hard is like, I'm a consistent 5 to 6 second bulldogger. I mean, I'll make 5 to 6 second runs. And every year I've had to go crack one in 3.9 to 4.2 to win a check.
Right.
And it even going, like I said, I try to go to the ones on paper you think would be easier. I'll slip over here to Rifle, Colorado. It's only got 2,000 added. There's 10 entries, and my 5.9, I think, won 8th place. they brought all the steers that set up at Cheyenne. We're like, we'll take those over there to Rifle. And I'm like, this is perfect. And calf roping's the same way. I mean, there's been multiple rodeos. I went and ran one in 8.6 in and been 15th. And it's like the timed events are deep, and you'll see 1 or 2 rodeos a year where it's like, man, that guy won $1,000 being 15 seconds in the steer wrestling, but it only happens once or twice a year, and I'm never entered at that one.
Coming up next on the Luke Branquinho Show.
And this is why it's the community signature event, is the rodeo. People year-round work on it, and they're excited when it's here.
Across the great desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford country, where Arizona's pride.
Sanderson Ford country,
Built on serving you. Sanderson Ford.
Satisfaction in todo para usted.
Where Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford.
Welcome back to the Luke Branquinho Show. One of the funnest events at the Cave Creek Rodeo this year, that's got to be the mutton busting. Who doesn't like to see a little cowboy or cowgirl hanging onto a sheep, hauling butt down the arena for dear life? And this year's Cave Creek Rodeo has been one of the best attended in the history of the event. Our next guest is president of the rodeo, Mike Poppenwine. This is not your first rodeo. You have, up in Colorado, you've been involved with the Cheyenne Frontier Days, obviously from Fort Collins originally. I mean, Greeley's not very far. There's so many rodeos from where you came from that you were involved in.
Yeah, actually, we're very fortunate up there. If you go to the Jubilee Days in Laramie, Frontier Days, the Greeley Stampede, even the Mile High Rodeo at Estes Park.
Yeah.
Colorado is a good rodeo location. Not only that, the parades are fun at each one of these locations. But I fortunately had a lot of good experience with Cheyenne Frontier Days, which is a top-notch, well-run organization, especially when you have an air base there that have a lot of manpower. to put that rodeo on. So, but it was I learned a lot. But I tell you what, down here in Cave Creek, of course, we're not the scale of Cheyenne Frontier Days, but the enthusiasm and spirit of the community, and this is why it's the community signature event, is the rodeo. People year round work on it, and they're excited when it's here.
Well, and I've got to compete several years at the Cave Creek Rodeo. Now I'm retired, but I think I've won it 2 times and placed multiple times. And the fans get involved, the crowd, the committee, the contractors. I mean, it's one event that if you're around, you don't want to miss. And speaking of that, how long has the Cave Creek Rodeo been around?
Actually, 47 years, 1977. That was our first rodeo, and it was started, matter of fact, in our parade, we had the founder. He's 92 years old in the parade, and he started the rodeo as a fundraiser to build a community pool, which never happened. But still, that was the objective on the rodeo, and then it kind of snowballed by being a traditional thing every year.
Well, I know we have the rodeo, we have the bull riding, but what other events kind of surround the Cave Creek Rodeo Days?
Well, actually, we kick it off with our pageant, royalty pageant in January. And then from there, our next event is our parade. That's the largest community parade for community event, in Cave Creek is our parade. And then we have our mutton busting after that parade. And then we have which really kicked off. We had a challenge by having we had a golf tournament every year. But then again, this is peak season down here in Arizona. So we couldn't get the cooperation with the golf courses. So we started this cornhole tournament. And I tell you what, we make more revenue and it's more fun because more people are involved in it. It's not subdued like a golf course. Here you can get rowdy, carry on. You have a band going on, and everybody can play in cornhole. And so it's a fun event, and it's a good fundraiser. So it's a great event. And the mutton busting been real popular because we had over 440 people there this year for mutton busting. Yeah, so
wow.
It was a great event, and we make it big because we have a band and we have the grand entry and a 13-year-old singing a national anthem. It brings tears to your eyes. It's really a great event.
That's awesome. Well, you bring all the names to it, and one thing that I think helps with that is being a PRCA sanctioned rodeo. You get some of the top athletes in the world. People that have won the rodeo that have went on to win world championships.
Yeah, the whole Wright family who has been world champion, like yourself, they all competed down here. So Stetson was here a year ago. Then we made all around Cowboy again. So we're very fortunate that they come down here because one thing we pride ourselves and we want to continue is we teach the contestants as VIPs. We give them food 24 hours a day. We give them a place to stay. They own grounds with their rig and outfit. So anything they need, we try to accommodate them. We had over 400 contestants last year. That was a record year for us. And we want to continue that to grow because they're important. If we don't have the contestants, we're not going to have the crowd. So they're kind of like the top of the food chain as far as support as a VIP.
Well, and I know as an ex-contestant, one thing that I appreciated a lot from the Cave Creek Rodeo was in 2020 when COVID hit. The world shut down, but Cave Creek, you guys organized a rodeo. It was the first rodeo start off, post-COVID, regulations. And you guys did it like it was not a big deal. You just rolled through it. It was absolutely amazing. And to see the support you guys got from the Cowboys, the contestants, it was amazing for me to be a part of it, but also amazing to know you stepped out on a limb for the Western sports.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting decision to make. But fortunately, we had the sponsorship behind us. We did. We had to move the date, obviously, and then we couldn't have fans. That's what pays the bill. But fortunately, the community stepped up. They paid the stock contractor, announcer, awards, payouts. So if it wasn't for a community like Cave Creek, it wouldn't have happened, but it did. We're very fortunate to have the spirit of the rodeo here in Cave Creek.
Well, you got so many exciting things, but what's something that you're looking forward to this year in the rodeo that's really exciting for you?
Well, actually, boy, that's a tough one. Everybody likes bull riding because that's the energy and excitement. And of course, steer wrestling I understand is pretty good in your direction. But actually, what we're really building I like is a grand entry. When you kick off the rodeo, you got the spectators. They like entertainment, and so before we didn't have we stopped the grand entry a little bit and focused on the rodeo. But this year we have more contestants, more royalty. I think we have close to 40 horse riders to do a design out there for part of our grand entry. Last year, we're still going to try to target on some Native American displays for our grand entry. So our grand entry is something we're really focusing on to improve so we can get that entertainment for their spectator, get their money's worth. So when they leave, they feel good. I'm coming back is what we want them to think. So the other thing that's coming up that I got to share is our skybox. I don't know if you realize it or not. Mother Nature blew it down a year ago. So,
I did not know that.
Okay, well, it's not there. So but we got a new one coming up. They won't be up this year, next year. And instead of 18 people we can hold, it'll be 96. And
nice.
it'll be tiered up just like a regular professional skybox. So we're excited about that. And that'll put another, a feather in our cap of putting on a first-class rodeo.
Well, I know the town or now city of Cave Creek has grown tremendously since I was there my rookie year in 2000. And the one thing I've always loved is the community support, like you talk about, how the community gets behind the fans, the local fans get behind the rodeo. And, again, appreciate all that you as the committee have done for the sport. And I appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm looking forward to a great rodeo.
Well, hey, we are too, and I tell you, it's exciting. We're already sold out. We're Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We still have a few tickets available for Thursday night, whole bulls all night. So it's great to sell out a week ahead of time. We don't have to be worried about anything. We're making our threshold on our budget so we can sit back and just put on a good rodeo. That's what our objective is. Nice.
Well, Mike, thanks for joining us on the show, and looking forward to seeing you. Don't go away, because my next guest has been so instrumental in the Cave Creek Rodeo. David Kimberly of Sanderson Ford. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned.
Across the green desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford Country, where Arizona's pride.
Sanderson Ford Country,
Built on serving you. Sanderson Ford.
Satisfaction in todo para usted.
We're Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford.
Welcome back to the Luke Branquinho Show. If you've been to the Cave Creek Rodeo or a fan of it, this guy doesn't need an introduction. David Kimberly of Sanderson Ford, thank you for joining us.
You bet, Luke. It's glad to have you here. The Valley of the Sun, as you see.
It's beautiful out here today.
Oh, it's amazing. It's going to be a great weekend.
Well, we can't ask for better weather for the great week of rodeo here at Cave Creek Rodeo Days. Question, why is the Cave Creek Rodeo Days so important to Sanderson Ford?
We love rodeo, and it's basic to our culture, and it's a bunch of good people that are just down to earth, no foolishness. What you see is what you get.
Right.
And as far as Sanderson Ford, we love Cave Creek because the people are so genuine.
Right.
And this is the real West, and we can't let that heritage get away.
Well, and you guys have been involved in the Cave Creek Rodeo for over 2 decades. So, the support you give this rodeo, the community, obviously they're giving it back.
They are, and we're so thankful. There's more horses in this area, and the people that are supportive of the outdoor and Western way of life. And it's just the epitome of that right here in Cave Creek, and we're glad to be part of it.
Well, I know even without the rodeos, you have your jackpot team ropings, your Western pleasures. There's so many horse activities, and one thing those people need when they have horses is a vehicle, and Ford's the best way to go.
They need a truck. We're so thankful that that people are pulling these horses around, because it's amazing. I raise a few cattle and have a stock trailer, and I really appreciate what it takes to have a vehicle that will do the job rather than some of these that go wimpy up the hill. You know Prescott real well.
Yes.
From here to there, it's a pretty good climb.
You got to pull.
Ford will do it.
That Ford, I was telling somebody, we were flying from the short round at Greeley to Prescott that night. Well, our plane got delayed. We were sitting in the tarmac, and we had a Ford truck pick us up. And we were in the Cowboy lane, which was obviously the shoulder of the road, doing Cowboy driving. We had tickets from the cameras that they take for speeding, but that Ford got us up there in plenty of time. We were able to compete, and it was, obviously Prescott's one of my favorite rodeos of all time. Anyway.
Oh, right. It's a great, the oldest rodeo in Arizona. So it's amazing. And when you competed, it was just amazing. I'm looking at you now. You're not the same guy that I saw back in the day.
Look younger, right?
Oh, younger, and there's life after rodeo.
That is true, and I still crave the competition of the rodeo arena, but to be able to come out here and do things like this, get in front of the camera now, talk to great people like you, talk to the contestants, and get a feel of what it's like to get going up and down the road. Obviously, I know what it was like for me, but to have the sponsor involvement, the committee involvement, and see what it actually takes to put on an event like this, it's huge. And without the sponsors like you, it'd be impossible.
Oh, it is amazing. The volunteers that help with this, it's just crazy how people love to be involved. And when they get together out here in Cave Creek, this is one of the few rodeos around that is outdoors and real rodeo.
Right.
There's just something about indoor arenas. I love them to go when it's bad weather and stuff, but when you're out here and you have weather like this is perfect.
Well, you talked about volunteers, and obviously 2020 was a tough time for the world. Cave Creek was the first rodeo to come back, saying, hey, we're gonna have a rodeo. We're going to put this on. We're going to get the Cowboys back out in the arena. And I know you had a big to-do with that and making that happen. And as a Cowboy competing at the time, I couldn't even tell you how much we appreciated you guys getting us back in the arena.
Well, it's really fun to look back on it, because we were a little bit nervous about, here you are, nobody's in the stands.
Right.
You're not used to having the quietness and everything that goes on. But the way you pulled it off with the Cowboy Channel was just amazing. I looked at that several times over and over just to see how it was orchestrated, and it was unbelievable. And it put rodeo back on the map. COVID wasn't going to take it down like it did everything else.
Right. It was the first professional sport to get back in the swing of things, and on TV. The Cowboy Channel had a huge to do with that, making sure that the fans that weren't able to get to the rodeo, obviously because they couldn't, but they were able to watch the rodeo on TV.
That's exactly right. And as a sponsor, they said, there's nobody in the stands, no one's going to come. Why would you do that? It's kind of an investment for the future.
Right.
If we stay here and we keep rodeo at its best, now look what it's turned into. It's just amazing.
Well, and they've done a great job. I know the Cave Creek Rodeo Committee, I've known a lot of those guys, in my career, and every time you talk to them, it's what are we going to do better next year? What are we going to build to make this better? Not only for the athletes, but for the fans, because let's be honest, if it wasn't for those butts in the seats, it'd be tough to have a rodeo. I mean, you guys pulled it off in 20, but you still need them.
We still need them. And what's neat about that, you've got the pure rodeo fan, and you have those that need to be entertained.
Right.
So consequently, it's really interesting to see how you get this synergy between all those, and you do it every time. So out here at Cave Creek, they see the best of the best.
Well, one thing about Arizona, it's such a Western-rooted state, culture-wise. You have Derek Begay and Coulter Todd, team ropers, that won the average at the national finals last year. There's so many great athletes that come from the state of Arizona.
Yes.
And then to have them come to your Cave Creek Rodeo is special.
Oh, that is special. And it does draw. I mean, what it takes as an athlete to do this. And when you get the best here, that's really a very special thing for Cave Creek.
Well, again, I can't thank you guys enough for what you did in 20 for the athletes and what you guys are still doing. You guys here in the Valley, if you need a truck, Sanderson Ford's the place to go. David, thank you for coming on the show.
Luke, thank you very much. Appreciate you very much.
Yes, sure. A rodeo wouldn't be a rodeo without rodeo royalty. And coming up, we talk with Miss Rodeo Arizona.
Across the green desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford Country. We're Arizona's pride.
Sanderson Ford Country.
Built on serving you. Sanderson Ford.
Satisfaction en todo para usted.
We're Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford.
Join us on Luke Branquinho Show right now. We have Miss Rodeo Arizona, Dana Conway. Dana, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What is it like to be here at Cave Creek at the Rodeo Days and representing your home state at such a great event?
Well, I truly believe that the state of Arizona is the home of rodeo. It's the home of the world's oldest rodeo in Prescott, Arizona. So coming here to Cave Creek and being able to showcase what our heritage is all about is truly an honor.
Well, you mentioned Prescott. That's where my wife's from, born and raised, and I've spent a lot of time up there with her family, and it is the oldest rodeo in the history, and it is a cool event. But you're right, Arizona has so many great rodeos. I won Pace in my rookie year, so that was a pretty cool one. That was, another old historic rodeo in Arizona. But talk to me a little bit about what it takes, to become a rodeo queen, because it's just not like people think. It's just not all glorious. I mean, you guys have to put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, so I've actually been a rodeo queen since I was 5 years old. I held my first title as Navajo County Little Buckaroo, and from there I kind of just broadened my horizons until I'm here now as Miss Rodeo Arizona. I like to describe it to people as it's just like your regular beauty pageant, except for our talent portion is obviously riding horses. It's the most important part. But when you really get down to the nitty-gritty, our true job is to kind of bridge that gap between the contestants and the crowd to make sure that we're, like I said, showcasing what we do, what we're so passionate about to people who don't quite experience it like we do on a daily basis.
Yeah, really what you guys do is go out and promote the Western heritage and our great sport of rodeo.
Sir.
But not only does it go through the state, through your Miss Rodeo Arizona, but you have a title that you're going to try to vie for in Miss Rodeo America.
Yes, sir.
And tell us about what it takes to get that title.
So it's just the same on a much larger scale, right? We're down in Las Vegas, Nevada with the big dogs, and we're really just kind of going through a pageant with some great friends that we meet throughout the year. I think there's about 30 of us competing this year, and we really get to represent our states to the best of our ability, and I have some huge legacy worth of people to follow in their footsteps, so I'm very excited to do so.
Well, it was great to have you on the show, and good luck in the pageant this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My next guest is somebody that has been a powerhouse for the Cave Creek Rodeo and the Cave Creek community. Ernie Bunch, thank you for joining us. And I didn't intro you right, also was the mayor of Cave Creek for 6 years.
Yeah, certainly was. It's always fun being in public service like that.
I could only imagine, especially in the time of your public service. We've talked about you really were I guess you were the driving force that brought back rodeo in 2020 when COVID hit. Cave Creek was the first rodeo back. I was actually competing at the time, and when I heard that Cave Creek was gonna be the first one back after our time off, I was so pumped to be able to get back into the arena.
Yeah, we were originally scheduled for March, like we always are, and we decided that probably Memorial Day weekend would be good, so that's what we did. We moved it from there, and here's a little bit of something left over from those days. I apologize, the straps are gone because my blue heeler thought he needed them more than I did.
Well, and this was something you gave all the contestants because for a lot of you folks that don't know, Cave Creek was able to put on the rodeo, no spectators, but obviously had to follow some of the COVID guidelines, and a mask was one of those.
Yep, yeah, and if you got caught with the mask off, you got yelled at.
Again, as a cowboy, especially those tough times, I couldn't tell you how much we appreciated being able to get back in the arena. And we talked to Shad Mayfield earlier, and it was one of the rodeos that, he had a great winter, but it was one of those rodeos that helped catapult him to his first world championship.
Really well. And the thing is, if I'm not mistaken, we were the only professional sporting event in the country that weekend. Yeah. And of course, it was televised on Cowboy Channel, and they took care of us and made sure everybody knew we were doing it, and we were being the I guess a little contrary to what the rest of the world was up to.
Well, and again, from a Cowboy's point of view, it was the Cowboy way, getting back, putting your best foot forward, getting back in the arena, and tell us a little bit about the history of the rodeo, because You know so much about it sitting and talking to you before we got on the show.
Well, the town put in about a little over $300,000 in new bleachers and placed a $3 surcharge on the tickets. And the gal that was running at the time said she wasn't going to charge her people that. So what she did is she decided to move the rodeo to another community here in the Phoenix metro area. And I've been mayor for 5.5 weeks, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be the mayor that loses the 40th annual PRC rodeo in the town of Cave Creek. So I came here to Harold's, where we happen to be standing right now, and met with Danny Piacquadillo. And Danny and I put together a board, and it was my first, it was my first rodeo. So it was one of those things where we managed to pull it all together in 9.5 weeks. We had help from the PRCA, we had help from everybody, and the sponsors flocked around to keep it in town, and that's why this year we're back again after 8 performances. I guess it's the 8th performance since we saved it.
And Cave Creek's such a horse community. I mean, you have team rope, jackpot team ropings, your snowbirds from Canada come down, and getting to be able to be around it and see all the jackpots that are really originated here in Cave Creek, Dynamite Arena. Then it's starting to venture out. I mean, these jackpots are really spreading across the valley.
Yeah, you know, the sad thing is that darn Wickenburg is taking over. You know, somehow we got to get all them people back to Cave Creek.
Ernie, it's been awesome having you on. I appreciate you, not only now, but what you did to get rodeo back in the arena in during COVID.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Luke.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
The Luke Branquinho Show is on the road. We're here at the Cave Creek Rodeo Days, and we stopped in at the Cave Creek Cowboy Company with owner Paul Rarick. Paul, thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. Appreciate having you guys here.
Well, tell us about the history of the store. You've been in this business for quite some time.
Yeah, actually 23 years coming up the first part of April. This particular location was once the original location of the Buffalo Chip Saloon that burnt down about 8 or 9 years ago. So it was a nice opportunity that came out of a tragic event, because a lot of us love that old place.
Yeah, I spent a few hours in the Buffalo Chip when I was younger. I've competed at the Cave Creek Rodeo many times, and always spent a lot of time up in this area. Tell me about the rodeo, just the excitement the rodeo brings to the town of Cave Creek.
Yeah, the rodeo it's a great week, really. It brings a lot of people to town, and we're just happy to continue the tradition that we've had up here for so many years.
Well, and all the Cowboys, we're proud of the work you guys put in. Man, coming in here, you guys have a variety of outfits for your casual cowboy to your working cowboy, and walk us through that, because this store is absolutely amazing.
We're in a spot where we can provide to all types, all walks of life. What I try and do is blend in a combination of higher end for our higher end customers, and also regular working cowboy types of gear.
So any price point for any type of Western enthusiast?
Yes, yep, that certainly is the case. I might have a gentleman riding a $250,000 reining horse, but he still needs a barn coat.
Right.
So in our boots, we do high-end customs and exotics such as elephant and hippo, caiman crocodile, alligator, those types of things. We also carry a lot of the basic Western lines, and we have matching belts that go with all of that. We have high-end Double D Ranch fur jackets, and then you can work your way through different leathers down to barn coats and jean jackets.
While we talk about custom, you have some custom products here that you guys take pride in, and the consumer comes in and says, I want something custom, and you accommodate them.
We do that, and that's one thing that I kind of pride myself on, is having a lot of unique product that people can't find in other types of Western stores.
And there's even a picture of me on one of the shirts, Paul.
There is, yes. You made the cinch hang tag, so.
So it doesn't matter if you want to go out in the arena and rope and ride, or if you want to go do boot, scoot, and boogie at the Buffalo Chip, or if you want to go to a high-end event, you got something that'll cover all your needs.
Yep.
We actually have a model here on the Luke Branquinho Show that's we're going to show her and showcase some of the outfits.
We have Delaney outfitted for the rodeo. Delaney's wearing a custom Double D Ranch hat, a custom Double D Ranch jacket trimmed with fox, hand painted, only available here at Cave Creek Cowboy Company. Also, she's wearing Nile crocodile boots that are also custom to the store and also designed by myself. Delaney here is wearing a Double D jacket and a Cruel Girl shirt with corral boots that we put together for her. So it gives her a little bit of going out bling.
So if you guys are gonna come to the Cave Creek Rodeo, make sure you come to the Cave Creek Cowboy Company and get your outfit. If you don't have one, I mean, I know a lot of people here probably have them, but they need to update it.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's good. All right, we got my outfit picked out. Got a cinch shirt. Obviously, we had to get one with my face on it, right?
Absolutely.
And then this jacket, we're gonna talk about that once I get it on.
Yes, sir.
All right, see you in a minute.
Luke has a Pella and Moda jacket that's designed for the store. It's concealed carry. There's pockets on both sides.
If you want to pack, you can pack.
This particular jacket's made out of a suede lamb, and then it's trimmed with buffalo.
Does this look good on me, guys? I never thought I'd be doing a spin and modeling. That's pretty cool.
But you're good at it.
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. This is what you need if you want to go out on the town here in Cave Creek.
Absolutely.
Listen, it's been a hard day on the Luke Branquinho Show. We've done a lot of shopping here at the Cave Creek Cowboy Company. So I think it's time we kick one back. And Paul, you do the honors?
I would love to.
Oof. A little Pendleton whiskey.
Yes, yes, sir. So,
appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
Didn't even make a face. Here on the Luke Branquinho Show, we like to throw a little rodeo trivia around. Who holds the record for the longest career in bull riding? To hear the answer, you're gonna have to stay tuned, keep watching the show, because I will answer it a little bit later. Finally, we caught up with a bullfighter. This guy is one tough individual and probably something you'll never see Luke Branquinho doing. I'm here with Connor Scott. We're out here at the Cave Creek Rodeo Days. What are we doing right now? I mean, you got your bullfighting vest on, your boots on, and we got some bulls loaded up. What's going on?
Yes, sir. We're fixing to ride some bulls around here all day. Through these next few days, we got this big rodeo here, and we just want to start off with the bang and get some good qualified rides and have these boys show what we do out here.
Well, it's media day out here at the Cave Creek Rodeo grounds, and you got some bull riders up here. And you getting ready to step around one?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, all the time. I'm always ready. 7 in the morning to 7 at night. Any day of the week, we love doing this stuff. So,
like 7-Eleven, are these bulls pretty hooky?
No, these guys pretty docile. I mean, hell, if you get in front of them, this little muley right here might come at you a little bit, but nothing I'm scared of. So.
Do you need me standing here?
Yeah, if you want to, you might need an extra hand or two.
I don't know that I'm going to do that, man, right. But good luck to you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you for watching the Luke Branquinho Show, and thank you to all of our sponsors, including Sanderson Ford. Rodeo trivia question. Who holds the record for the longest career in bull riding? Freckles Brown holds the record for the longest bull riding career of 26 years. He retired at age 52 and won his last world championship at age 41. I'm here with some princesses and future queens and a couple cowboys. Hey, what is your favorite show?
Luke Branquinho Show.
Awesome, you guys check it out. Hey, you want to see more in-depth details on the Luke Branquinho Show? Make sure you like and subscribe.